What's up, y'all? Listen, I wanted to come and just wish you guys a happy 4th of July, first of all. And then secondly, I want to say thank you guys for all of the love and support y'all continue to show on the channel. We are definitely continuing to grow, and I absolutely appreciate each and every last one of you guys. I miss you guys. I haven't been able to make a video in a while, just due to, personal life and some other things that's going on. I'll definitely explain to you guys in another video. But this video right here is basically something that I noticed is reoccurring on the channel. A lot of you guys jump in the comment section, and some of you guys have mentioned that you feel like you were targeted by the narcissist because you were an introvert or a loner. And when I was coming out of the narcissistic situation that I was last in, I kind of felt the same way. Because it was not like I went out seeking this person. It was, normally I wasn't even seeking really a relationship or any of that kind of stuff. But one of the things that I noticed is like, she kind of took a liking to me, you know what I'm saying? And I believe one of the things that attracted her to me was the fact that I was very independent, very on my own, very like to myself, and I kept my business to myself and that kind of thing. So I feel like one of the reasons why they do this is because loners and introverted people already kind of like self-isolate themselves. We already kind of stay away from the crowd, that kind of thing. So it's not as many people around to notice the toxicity in the narcissists themselves. So when they come around you and they're putting that mask on for you, you're the only person that they have to like mask up for. They're alone and they're dealing with you one-on-one. So it's like, well, I'm sure it's a lot easier to get away with certain things when you only have to put up a front for one particular person as to an entire group of people. And the reason that I am doing this video is because it's not necessarily because I wanted to talk about do they actually target loners and all of that kind of stuff, but it was more so from the other side of things where I actually saw so much value in having solid people in my life, like having solid people around me in my life, even though I was a loner. And the reason that I'm kind of talking to you guys about this is because I feel like a lot of you guys are probably like me, where you spend a lot of time on your own, and you probably don't have a lot of company coming over to your house and that kind of thing. You kind of like do your own thing. And but I want you guys to understand the importance of always having like solid people in your life, solid people that, you don't have to have a big circle or anything like that, but it's always good to have people that you can count on, people that you can depend on, people that you can trust, people that have your back, especially when you're dealing with, a toxic individual and that kind of thing. So the reason that I'm kind of doing this video is because in my own personal situation, I kind of saw it firsthand where the narcissist that I was dealing with, she hated when my loved ones would come around. Like people that she knew actually had genuine love for me. Like some of you guys met my sister in a couple of the other videos that we've done. I've introduced her on the channel and her channel and everything. And I'm definitely gonna be bringing her back. But one of the things that I noticed is while I was dating this person, anytime my sister would come around, anytime like my sister would, she would just come over and visit, and it would be a normal day. Anytime she would come around, the narcissist that I was dealing with, she would scurry out the room, like, or, okay, I'll see y'all later, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? It was always, like, to me, it was kind of odd because I'm like, my sister's very cool. She's like, like laid back when it comes down to, she's not the type of person that is going to like put off that she doesn't like you or put off any of that kind of stuff unless you put that energy off to her. And I used to always kind of wonder, like, why do you run off every time my sister comes around? And, the first couple times when you notice it, it's like, well, maybe she's just not maybe she's just not comfortable with family members, that kind of thing. But it was always kind of something that stuck out to me, and it was like a red flag to me of like, why does she act like this anytime my sister comes around? Anybody else comes around and it's like, she's like, oh, hey, like, I could have, you know, a mutual friend or something like that, and it would be fine. But anytime my sister came over, and I was like, well, maybe it's because of like the whole women's intuition thing. Maybe she feels like my sister can see things in her that I can't, that kind of thing, which I believe is the case. I believe that she was masking up for me, but she understood that my sister was probably going to be able to see through the mask. And because she knew that my sister was going to be able to see through the mask, she didn't want to spend any significant like amount of time around her. Anytime my sister would come in the room, she would literally like run away. She would like, oh, okay, I'll see you later. I'm going home now. Like we would be spending like we have spent the whole weekend together, and then my sister comes over, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I gotta go home now. I'll see you later. That kind of thing. So it was always kind of weird to me. Then, after I noticed that with my sister, a friend of mine, my best friend, who also knew the narcissist that I was involved with, he knew her from elementary school because we all went to elementary school together, basically. We all, grew up in the same neighborhood, and we all grew up knowing each other, that kind of thing. So my best friend comes, and he's going through some personal things. Now he's like gotten married, and his life has taken a complete turn for the better. I'm super proud of him and things like that. But he fell on some hard times, and he needed a place to stay. And so he asked me, hey, I know you're at the house by yourself. Can you, do you think you can, do you think you would entertain having somebody in your second bedroom, like having somebody rent out your second bedroom? And I'm like, yeah, for you, of course, we've been friends since 4th, 5th grade, that kind of thing. I know he's, we've lived together before, like in college and things like that. So I knew the type of person he was. I knew he wasn't like a filthy type of person that was going to be like tearing my house up. And he's usually very responsible and that kind of thing. So I didn't have any problem with him coming. But when, of course, it was my home, I'm in a relationship with the narcissist at the time, like we're dealing with each other. But it's like she took this like an offense to him being there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, wait a minute, it's my house. He's my best friend. We've been friends since 4th, 5th grade. You know that because you were there. You're like, you know what I'm saying? We were all in school together. So I don't understand like what the problem is of him living with me. At the time, she wasn't even living with me. Like she wasn't living with me. This is before we had kids, any of that kind of stuff. This was just at the beginning of the relationship where, she came back around and acted like she wanted to be in a relationship, but now all of a sudden my best friend is living with me. And when she found out that he was going to be living with me, it was kind of like the sogginess in her attitude. Her attitude just went from like upbeat and wanting to be around and always wanting to be involved and always kind of being around me, to all of a sudden she didn't really want to interact as much. She didn't want to be around as much. She was distancing herself a lot from the situation. And again, I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that her mask was designed and built for me specifically. And anybody else, don't get me wrong, like, of course, there's the public mask where, they kind of show good face to everybody. But I think, some of the manipulations that was working on me, or the things that, like the way that you can manipulate an intimate partner because of, all of the other, like the feelings involved, the sex, the this, to that, from somebody on the outside looking in, and they're not receiving that love bomb and that kind of thing, they'll be able to kind of see through the manipulation a little bit better. So it was just one of those type of things that I definitely noticed, that whenever I had really solid people in my life, whenever I had, people that actually had genuine love for me and they would come around, it would make this person extremely uncomfortable. So it was like one of the red flags that I kind of wanted to point out, because if you do have people around you, like when your loved ones come around and all of a sudden this person is acting crazy, or or they've being real dismissive or being real like shifty and gotta like get out of there, they're trying to like run away from something, it's probably because they think that these other people can see through something that they like a mask that they're putting up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that everybody that does that is a narcissist. I'm sure regular people do that too. I'm sure we all do, you know, have done that when we feel uncomfortable around certain people. But it was just one of the things that kind of stood out to me as a red flag. I used to like wonder all of the time, like, why do you act like that every time one of my loved ones come around? So then the second part that I wanted to talk about as far as like keeping solid people close to you is because of the smear campaign. Now, the reason that I say that, like, keep very like solid people close to you, is because the people that know you and the people that you have already established relationships with, the people that love you, the people that know that you wouldn't do certain things, that kind of thing, the people that just know that you're a solid individual, the smear campaign isn't going to have any legs to it. So in my situation, basically, she was only able to smear me to her family members. Her family members already knew that she was like, you know, obviously she had done this to plenty other people before. So her family members kind of already knew, okay, you know, that like there's something, you know, not adding up about the stories that she's telling me. There's something about, you know, like the way she was trying to smear me, it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't, her stories didn't have any legs to get out into like the public or into the community or any of that kind of stuff, because my people on my side, I first of all I keep a very small circle. So because I keep a small circle, there wasn't a whole lot of people that she could go and run off and be lying to anyway. But when she did start to try to tell her lies and all of that kind of stuff and try to smear my name and, you know, smear the things that happened, you know, it was lies and everything that was told about me to her family members. And those are people that either A, never met me, or B, never liked me in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like they never wanted her and I involved or any of that kind of stuff, because most of the times narcissistic people come from like jealous families, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people in their family that like are very jealous of you as well, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I did notice is that her brothers and all of that kind of stuff kind of put up that jealous front from the very beginning. I could kind of, you know, you can kind of feel the tension between somebody. You can feel like, man, something off with this guy, but it was never like disrespectful. It didn't get disrespectful until the discard came, and then it was like her whole family started like being disrespectful. Her whole family started, you know, kind of attacking me and that kind of thing. So basically, because of the fact that I had very solid people in my life, people that knew what I was about, people that know that I wouldn't do certain things, and people that know that I would do certain things, it's like they knew my personality enough to where the smear campaign stopped right dead in its tracks, because, you know, she was trying to smear me with things that they knew that I wouldn't do. They knew, like, wait a minute. And so she smeared me to her family, but even in her smearing me to her family, because I had so many solid people around me and nobody is reacting on my side of things, like nobody is, you know, I haven't lost any friends or any loved ones or, you know, that kind of thing, to where it's like, well, if he was such a bad guy, and if you're saying this and if you're saying that, you know, why isn't he losing all these other people in his life? Why are all of these people still, you know, close to him? Why are all of these other people still, you know, maintaining their friendships and maintaining, you know, all of that kind of stuff? And I know a lot of you guys weren't that fortunate. You know, in my situation, I was fortunate because I did have solid people around me. But I know from, you know, reading your comments and, you know, the emails that you guys send me, a lot of you guys have like been smeared to the point where, you know, you've lost a whole community of people. Like you've lost so many people. You've lost people that you thought were your friends. You lost people that you knew weren't really your friends, that kind of thing. But you have lost a lot of people along the way because of the narcissist smear campaign. One of the things that I can say is ignore the smear campaign. You know what I'm saying? If you, like I said, I had an opportunity to kind of see what was happening before it actually happened. I didn't know what to label it, but I just knew that she was running my name through the mud for no particular reason before I even knew that she was actually doing it. I just had like an inkling, a feeling of it. And maybe it's, people say that God protects us and that kind of thing. I honestly feel like God was protecting me the entire way through this whole process, even though he, allowed me to get into the situation, and it was like my own will. I chose that person, you know what I'm saying? Taking my own accountability. I chose to be with this person. I chose to deal with this person, even though he may have shown me red flags. But at that time, I didn't even know what a red flag was, to be honest. I didn't even know what toxic behavior. I grew up in such a crazy environment that everything seemed toxic to me. You know what I'm saying? Everything seemed so, but now I have a clear-cut understanding of what toxicity is. Now I have a clear-cut understanding of what evil looks like. I have a clear-cut understanding of what personality disorders look like, and that kind of thing. But beforehand, I just kind of viewed the world, I guess, with those rose-colored glasses on, hoping that everybody would just try to do the best that they could in the world and that kind of thing. Now I actually understand that there are forces out here outside of, us. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a spiritual warfare, and this is something that all of us are going to have to, come to grips with. You know what I'm saying? We all are getting the knowledge now, and I'm glad a lot of you guys were able to get out of your situations and that kind of thing. But I just wanted to say, just for a lot of you guys that are loners, make sure you keep some solid people in your life. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you even if you don't like a whole lot of company, that kind of thing, every once in a while have someone, especially if you're in a relationship and none of your family members or none of your friends or anything like that know this person that will, like, let some solid people come and meet this person. Let some solid people come around, and see how they interact with these people. See if they, shell up. See if they run away every time. See if they, see if the person acts funny around the solid individuals in your life. And that'll kind of, raise a little bit of a red flag, or even maybe it's just something that you need to be concerned about and kind of ask a little bit more questions about why do you feel uncomfortable, that kind of thing. Maybe it could just open up a whole another level of conversation in your relationship. But that's one of the things that I noticed in mine, is that anytime someone's solid in my life, anytime someone that this person knew had my best interests at heart, and this person knew that they were all like, these other people were gonna always like look out for me, that kind of thing, they didn't want any parts of those people. They still don't want any parts of those people. So that's my video, y'all. I'm gonna chop it up with y'all later. Hopefully I can drop some more videos this week. I will be doing some one-on-ones coming up soon. I absolutely love and appreciate you guys. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for just continuing to rock with the channel. Love y'all. See y'all in a minute.